Have you ever stopped to think about the three most mysterious days in history? The Gospels confirm that Jesus Christ died on the cross and rose 3 days later. But what happened in between? Where did the Son of God, the Messiah, actually go? This is not a simple question with a simple answer. The Bible you hold contains an alarming silence on this period. The only thing we are sure of is that the physical body of God lay in a tomb, but his spirit embarked on a journey to a place you may not know even existed. This journey was not a rest. It was a final, cosmic confrontation that secured your ultimate redemption. Today, we unroll the forbidden scroll to uncover the hidden truth about Jesus' 3-day mission. We will reveal the 3 distinct, secret realms he visited. We will expose the true meaning of the descent, a journey into the heart of the shadow. Welcome back to Forbidden Scrolls. The truth about the 3 days changes everything about the finality of the sacrifice. To understand Jesus' 3-day mission, we must first confront the historical concept of the afterlife. We are taught about heaven and hell, but the ancient Jewish and early Christian worlds understood a far more complex geography of the dead. This understanding is the key that unlocks the mission. The 3 days were not spent in one place. They were spent in 3 distinct, separate spiritual realms. Our journey begins with the concept that covers the largest ground: Sheol. Sheol is the ancient Hebrew term for the general realm of the dead. It is not hell, as we typically understand it today, but rather a place of silence, darkness, and common habitation for all souls. Regardless of their moral standing, both the righteous and the unrighteous went to Sheol. The concept suggests a temporary holding area, a kind of waiting room for the ultimate judgment or ultimate glorification. The suppressed wisdom reveals that within Sheol there were 2 distinct compartments. Think of it as a house with 2 rooms. The first room was paradise, or sometimes called Abraham's bosom. This was the section of Sheol reserved for the righteous, those who had died in faith before Christ's final sacrifice. It was a place of comfort and rest, but still a waiting area, as the final victory over death had not yet been won. The second room was for the unrighteous, a place of discomfort and separation, where the suffering was already beginning. When Jesus died, his spirit first descended into Sheol. The purpose of this first descent was paramount: to proclaim victory to the righteous. The scripture in 1 Peter confirms this, stating that Jesus preached to the spirits in prison. This preaching was not an offer of a second chance. It was a triumphant announcement. He was declaring that the final, decisive sacrifice had been made, and the pathway to the Father's presence was now permanently opened. For the righteous waiting in Abraham's bosom, this was the ultimate moment of liberation. Jesus was collecting the souls of the faithful dead, preparing to lead them into the true, eternal heaven. This is the first profound truth of the 3 days. Jesus' mission was to empty the waiting room of the righteous, but his journey did not end there. To truly secure the covenant, he had to confront the most wicked and the most ancient of his enemies. The second stage of Jesus' mission takes us to the darkest, most terrifying realm, Tartarus. This is where the story truly diverges from common belief and confronts the forbidden scroll. Tartarus is not the general hell for human sinners. It is a prison for fallen, high-ranking spiritual entities, specifically the rebellious watchers, the angels we explored who sinned before the Great Flood. The book of 2 Peter and the book of Jude confirm that there is a special place of darkness where these angels are kept in chains, awaiting final judgment. This place is Tartarus. It is a cosmic holding cell, far below Sheol, reserved for the most ancient and profound betrayers of the divine order. Why would Jesus need to visit this ultimate prison? Because his death and resurrection had to be publicly validated as the final, complete victory over every single form of rebellion, human and celestial. This visit was not a rescue mission. It was a cosmic act of dominance. This descent is often referred to in theology as the harrowing of hell, SS10, PHANGC. The goal was to destroy the authority of the ancient, rebellious powers. When Jesus entered Tartarus, he was making a final, decisive proclamation of his superiority to the most powerful and ancient of his enemies. The symbolism is absolute. The Son of God, having completed his work on earth, descends to the lowest spiritual realm to confront the deepest source of evil and strip it of its final vestiges of power. By confronting and defeating the authority of the Watchers and other principalities in Tartarus, Jesus was proving that his authority was universally effective in heaven, on earth, and in the deepest spiritual prisons. This act completed the conquest of the spiritual realms. The covenant was not just renewed for humanity, it was secured against every power of darkness. This final, dramatic confrontation in Tartarus secured the ultimate and undeniable finality of the sacrifice. The final and most triumphant stage of the three-day journey was the ascent to paradise, the true, eternal home of the righteous. This is the moment where the mission culminates and the new covenant is fully realized. Recall the story of the two criminals crucified alongside Jesus. One mocked him, but the other, recognizing the divine authority even in death, simply pleaded, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." Jesus responded with the ultimate promise, "Truly I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise." This simple phrase is the key to understanding the finality of the mission. Jesus did not promise the criminal he would go to heaven 3 days later. He promised paradise today. This confirms two things. First, the criminal's soul went to the place of comfort, Abraham's bosom, paradise within Sheol. Second, it confirms that after Jesus had confronted Tartarus, his spirit returned to paradise to gather the righteous souls. The true meaning of the three-day discontinuity lies in the nature of the sacrifice's completions. The death on the cross was the price. The resurrection was the victory. But the descent and ascent secured the legal, cosmic, and personal transfer of every faithful soul. Jesus led a massive spiritual exodus. By his resurrection, he simultaneously broke the chains of death for the righteous and permanently locked the chains on his ancient enemies in Tartarus. The 3 days were not a period of waiting. They were a period of active, triumphant mission. Jesus secured the covenant by 1. Liberating the righteous from Sheol, 2. Conquering the ancient celestial powers in Tartarus, and 3. Establishing the final, irreversible pathway to the Father. The truth about the 3 days is a profound challenge to our understanding of the sacrifice. It was not a passive event. It was a cosmic battle, fought and won in the spiritual realms. The finality of his victory is undeniable. The 3 days were the final battle of the cosmos, a battle for your soul's destination. You now know the terrifying truth that Jesus did not rest. He went on a mission to Sheol and Tartarus to secure your ultimate freedom. The Bible's silence on those 3 days was not an absence of activity. It was the deliberate omission of a victory so absolute it secured the covenant against all powers of darkness forever. This finality should anchor your faith against every fear and every doubt. The King of Kings holds the keys to every realm, Tartarus, Sheol, and heaven. The question for you today is simple. Now that you know the depth of that sacrifice, will you live with the confidence of that final victory? Will you live as if the war has already been won? If this truth about Jesus' ultimate victory has deepened your faith, there is one final, suppressed truth you must unlock. The ultimate mystery is not where Jesus went, but what he actually accomplished by breaking the chains of death. The powerful, hidden covenant that secured your eternal future is revealed in the video appearing on your screen now. It completes the picture of the finality of the sacrifice. Thank you for seeking the truth in the Forbidden Scrolls. I invite you to commit to this journey by hitting the like button and subscribing. Live in the confidence of the 3 days.